Can you imagine running nearly 200 miles during the summer just to prepare for a 3-mile race? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Welcome to cross country. I'm going to tell you a little bit about cross country, what a meet is like, what some of the rules are, what a person wears during a meet, and what state is like. There's a lot more to cross country than you would expect. I'm credible to speak on this topic because I have been involved in cross country for the past 4 years. And the cross country originated in the early 19th century, according to the editors of Britannica. It started as a game called the paper chase, or hares and hounds. During this game, a hare would start running and leave behind a trail of paper, and then a hound would follow behind and chase them. This was the first idea of cross country. It wasn't until the late 1800s that the course became like it is today. According to David Tiefenthaler, the NCAA National Championships began for cross country in 1938 for men and in 1981 for women. It was featured in the Olympics in the early 1900s but was removed because it was considered untraditional. Today, cross country is a very popular sport across the nation. It is typically held at golf courses or parks of some sorts. They try to stay away from places that are busy with traffic or a lot of cement. The distance is 3.1 miles or 5,000 meters for both boys and girls in the state of Iowa. Every course is different. There are all sorts of different terrain, from gravel to mud to grass to small inclines to huge hills, anything you can imagine. To start, everyone is lined up and each team has their own box in which they fit all the runners. You can usually fit 2 or 3 in the front and then they go behind. The official will give a command and then he will shoot the gun and everyone starts. If someone is to fall within the first 100 meters of the race, they will shoot the gun again and he will restart. There is a lead cart that obviously leads the course and it is close to the first person, but it makes sure that the first person never catches up to it and that is also in sight to the first person the entire time. There are many indicators throughout the race. There is a white line typically throughout from start to finish that will lead you, and there are also flags and cones located throughout the course. There is also an end cart to make sure that no one gets lost or left behind. Just like any other sport, there is a JV and a varsity team for cross country. Varsity teams only have 7 runners, and the rest of the runners will be put on JV. So this means that a team can have a small JV team, like 5 runners, or they can have a very big one, like 50 runners. The scoring of cross country is simple. First place receives 1 point, second place receives 2, third place receives 3, and so on. The lowest score wins. The uniform of a cross country meet is usually a tank top and shorts. With the school name is usually displayed across the chest, and every single meet requires a sort of number. As you can see, there are 4 holes in each corner in which you will safety pin it under, making sure it is not covering the name down here. There's usually a thing at the bottom of this paper in which they rip off once you finish and they will use it later on for scoring. Cross country also has different shoes. These are called spikes because there are spikes at the bottom. And they are not required, but they are recommended because they are tighter and they are lighter on the feet and they provide great traction in the many different things you run through in cross country. There is also a state and districts meet for cross country. Districts, there are 5 qualifying sites for each class located throughout the state. In order to qualify, you must place in the top 3 as a team or the individually top 15 places go. This state meet is held at Fort Dodge on a Saturday morning towards the end of October or early November. It is a very chaotic meet. It's so many people come to support and it is loud and people are screaming the whole way. There's a huge amount of girls in each race. And according to the Iowa High School Athletic Association, in 2016, there were 140 girls in one race, and in 2010, there were 120 girls. So the numbers vary for each race, but you will have a big amount of people no matter what, and it is the best of the best, so it is a very intense meet. After the state meet, there are awards, and the top 3 receive plaques, and the top 15 individuals will receive medals. I picked this topic because cross country has been my favorite sport, and when I first started, I had no idea what to expect. I learned a lot over these past few years by doing cross country, and I hope that you learned something today too.